Hi, this is Sam Bismuth for another morning message for the members of CPI or anybody that wants to tune in. Today I wanted to talk about there's a dynamic between nerds and not nerds, right? Or in a way almost more like thinkers and doers or something like that. And there's something I noticed, right? There's some people they come to CPI events, they participate in them, and they're very socially off. They lack social awareness, but many times these people have a really firm grasp of a wide variety of things, right? Or maybe their grasp on it is very broad. You get kind of encyclopedia types, whereas other people have very strong logical capacity. They understand things like economics, they or politics or history. There's all sorts of different types of nerds that you see, right? And some of them are nerdier than others. Some of them lack self-awareness of being a nerd, and and then some people they come to our stuff. They're not nerds at all. These are not nerds. They just want things to be better. They want life to be better. And ultimately, most people are not nerds. So I think it's a mistake for us to have mostly like nerds sitting at the podium giving speeches while the not nerd people are just kind of sitting there like, wow, I wish I knew what this guy knows. That's not good. That's not good. We need to think about this in terms of like, so for individual people, developing self-awareness, developing speaking and communication and marketing and PR skills, all this stuff, these are very important. We all need to acknowledge that even if you're not a nerd, you need to develop these skills. But for nerds, they need to go hard into it. They need to be practicing in front of the mirror. They need to be changing up their voice, and being interesting people, right? But for the people that are um, more capable of social interaction, more self-aware, they need to bridge the gap. These nerds that have some self-awareness, these are the most important people in this context. And I consider myself one of them. But these are the people that are nerds. They understand nerd stuff, but they can bridge the gap. They can talk to people who aren't nerds without coming off as weird or overly nerdy. I come off nerdy. I am nerdy, but I'm able to understand this stuff. And not to point anybody out, but some people don't. And we kind of have to figure out how we can bridge that gap, make things make sense. Now, for the non nerds out there, some of you are very intelligent and capable of understanding things just as well as someone whose brain is literally built like an encyclopedia. You can't compete with Rain Man. That's all I'm saying. But like a lot of you guys are really brilliant people as well. But I think that the way that you are going to absorb knowledge is different because a lot of times the reason somebody's a nerd like this is not because they have a higher level of intelligence or capacity, mental capacity, but because they have an extremely high level of niche enthusiasm, right? And these people will go and learn about things because of their niche enthusiasm. Whereas I think people who are more normally well-adjusted socially, they might have an interest, a curiosity, but it's not to the point where they want to sit down for 4 hours and read a piece of communist literature or something like that. It's not to the point where they want to obsessively browse information all day, right? Now I can get to that point. I can be that guy. Not always that guy, right? But that's the point where, we need to for the people that can't bridge the gap, right? For like, because I can hone my normal skills kind of, and I can hone my nerd skills both, and I can bridge that gap as an individual. But for the people that can't, for the normal people that can't be nerds, And for the nerds that can't be normal people, we need to bridge this gap. This is extremely important. Nerds, be nerds. It's okay to be a nerd. But if you're going to stand at a podium, learn to speak. And if you are not going to stand at a podium, if you don't want to do that, learn how to talk to the people that aren't nerds. Talk to them. Get feedback from them. Get advice from them. Don't be shy and embarrassed about the fact that you are a nerd. Be open about it. Ask people for advice. People can try to help you out. And importantly, for the normal people, understand this. This shit is real. Okay, this shit is all real. I understand there's weird nerds that are interested in niche stuff, and a lot of them are just interested in it because they're nerds. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But all this shit the US government's doing in other countries, most of that's fucking real. And this global international shift and the need to survive it and the need to have a new economy, you all know this shit's real. You all know it's real. You all know, like this is not just some crazy nerd club. This shit is all real. So when you have nerds who understand this shit's real and they're trying to piece it together, they're trying to figure it out, talk to them, learn from them, Don't get turned off by the people that are just awkward. Don't get turned off into thinking this is just a weird nerd organization. Don't get turned off because there's nobody else doing this. It takes a nerd to do this. At least to get it started, to get it rolling, it takes a nerd. It does. But it takes you to actually make this shit work. It takes you. And we need you. And thank you for helping us. Don't be shy, okay? Don't be shy. Anyway, guys, that I just wanted to talk about that nerd versus non-nerd dynamic in CPI and the need to bridge that gap. Because at the end of the day, the non-nerds will become disillusioned if you're not able to reach them and understand them as a nerd. And the nerds will become useless if they don't make any attempt to reach across the aisle and make sense of things for the average person. And that's a problem. That is a huge problem in communist orgs. So thanks for listening. This has been Sam Bismuth. I'll talk to you another day. Bye-bye.